Hello there, and welcome to episode 36 of Colonization Project. We start today's episode off by returning to Sunset Star, which has arrived back at Kerbin. That's pretty good. We don't want them to not arrive at Kerbin. They don't have enough life support for that. That's number one. Number two is that they probably want to see their families again, They've been in space for 3 years at this point, so probably getting tired of living in the same spaceship with each other for like 3 years. Probably not the best for the Kerbals' mental health, but oh well. And also they've been in space for 3 years, so their bones were probably mush or something. They do have the gravity rings, but they can only support a couple Kerbals, and they only provide 0.25 Gs of gravity. Also the Coriolis force, and I can go on and on about the problems that these Kerbals may be experiencing. But oh well, that's not our problem. We just launched them into space. Probably should be. We're a space program. Let's just brush that off to the side. Maybe the engineers will have some way to deal about that. They probably do, But anyways, we've just performed our deceleration burn, and now we can send up an Ares crew transfer vehicle to go and get them, which should be happening any second now. I'm not sure if we've used this variant before. I might have said this in the last episode, but I'm not sure. But it's like an extended crew variation because we don't need the payload doors or the cargo space. We just need more crew capacity, but we also don't need more crew capacity because there's like 5 crew members on board. So like we don't really need any of them, but I think it looks a lot better having it be normal instead of having like these 2 massive fuel tanks on the side and then this tiny little command module in the center. I think it looks good right now. I think it sort of looks like those like those sci-fi proposals for single stage to orbits. Like I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I have no idea how to explain it, but I don't know. But we have gotten into orbit. We did break off 2 of the landing legs on separating those external fuel tanks. Probably not the best, and but it's just a landing leg. Nothing can go wrong if we just lose a single landing leg, right? Yeah, hopefully not. Anyways, we are just rendezvousing we are just rendezvousing with Sunset Star right now, and I should probably cut all this stuff out. It might be good to do that because it would allow for more video per video, but it would also make it I'm not sure if it would make it more boring or it would sure provide more interesting commentary because I'm just trying to find things to talk about, right? Am I not? Because we're just doing things we always do. You could also see there that the radiator broke off. Thankfully nothing exploded besides, of course, the radiator, and that didn't really explode, it just fell off. We might as well give the crew a wake-up call, telling them that their ride is here. They don't want to be missing the space taxi. That wouldn't be very good. It heads home without the crew, or we just leave one crew member up there, and he's like, "Hey, I don't know how to access the comms. What do I do?" And we just have a stranded crew member aboard. That probably won't be the best, both for a space program and for the Kerbal. But we can always send up more SSTOs to go and get them. Anyways, after that, we can head back down to Kerbin, landing back at the Space Center, of course, because that's where I like to land. We don't really need to land there, but it's always a good idea to land at the Space Center. If we don't land at the Space Center, we might as well be landing in a mountain range, and those aren't flat, as you may know. We could land at the top of a mountain range. That would be pretty cool. Actually, that's a challenge I probably should do, landing one of our starships on top of a mountain range. That's going to look especially cool when the new update to environmental visual enhancements comes out. If you don't know, they've been working on like volumetric, the dev for Eve and Scatterer has been working on like volumetric clouds, which I'm super excited about. Like, that's just going to add so much more to the game. Hopefully my computer can handle it, because it's running as bad as it is with this many mods installed. But, you know, even if it's running at 2 frames per second, it'll still look good while running at 2 frames per second. Although hopefully the performance impact shouldn't be too bad. At least what I've heard. Anyways, we've collected a whole bunch of science from that, because we managed to like get some science into labs and then get the other copies back to Kerbin. So we get 4,000 science from it, bringing our total up to 6,300 science, which gives us enough science to unlock 3 tech nodes. Yes, 3. Only 3. You can also see we get a bunch of medals for our Kerbals, although those are just fancy stuff that the Kerbals get. Not really anything beneficial to a space program, but we can unlock advanced colonization, which gives us a bunch of new MKS Wolf parts, which means we can start finally producing things on Otherworld with material kits, once we get that set up, of course. Then we can unlock tremendous efficiency propulsion and experimental fuel storage, which both give us the required technology and parts to unlock metallic hydrogen engines, which are very exciting, although they're not very good right now, because I don't know, I'm probably bad at determining like the right fuel mixtures to use. Also they're rather expensive. Also, you know, like it would be hard upgrading all of our current rocket infrastructure to use metallic hydrogen instead of just normal chemical rockets, even with the efficiency bonus that will gain. We'll probably eventually start using metallic hydrogen for larger launches, but right now we're fine with chemical rockets, which is what we're using right now. We are launching a Leviathan, and we're launching it up to launch a Think. Of course we are. But more specifically, this will be launching a new the new core of a, well, I mean, it's not really a core unless you count the nuclear reactor on board, but it's the new first module of a brand new spaceship that we will be building. Yes, as soon as Sunset Star arrives, a new ship will be, well, shipping out. This will be Horizon, and it is going to Jool. Yes, we are sending a crewed mission to Jool. Very exciting, I know. We're going to be landing on every single moon except for Tylo, because I don't like Tylo. Lathe is going to be one of our main targets, because, you know, it's Lathe. It's beautiful. It has that nice scenic background with Jool and all the floating plankton and stuff. That's exciting, of course. And then we'll be landing on Val, because science and maybe a few monoliths here and there. I mean, probably not. We're not going to go to that much effort. We're going to be landing on Bop, because science. And then we're going to be landing on Pole to refuel the craft, because I can't be bothered having everything on this one craft. Instead, we're going to ship it out to Jool on a very fast trajectory. We're going to refuel it up at Jool, and then we're going to ship it back home. Pretty simple. So yeah, instead of having everything we need on one fuel, we can just expend all of our fuel in one go, although we won't be doing that for safety reasons. But we will be able to refuel the entire craft at Jool. I'm hoping it doesn't take that long, but we'll be using, I think, half the fuel to get out to Jool, which means we probably have enough to get back without refueling, but you know, we just want to play it safe. We could also take a slower trajectory out to Jool, but I'm impatient and I can't be bothered to do that. Anyways, you can see it right here. This first module contains a little docking port on the front, some radiators, life support, supplies, food, all that. Nuclear reactor, because solar panels don't work that far out, and RTGs also don't provide enough power, so I thought, might as well just slap a nuclear reactor on. We have that. We have some RCS ports, RCS fuel, all that stuff. Basically, it's the service module of the entire thing. It just provides all the basic utilities for the the trip out there. We are recovering the second stage because I just figured, why not? It has enough fuel to land. It has enough thrust to land it. We might as well land it. Only problem is, of course, that it doesn't have the most re-entry heating. Re-entry heating? No, it has a lot of re-entry heating. It doesn't have the most re-entry shielding, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have a good amount of that, so that's why we normally don't return these things, and also because I'm far too lazy to do that. But, you know, I figured we might as well recover this one to save us a bit of extra money. At least that's what I thought, until I realized that I am very bad at determining when I should start the burns. Because as you can see here, very shortly, it ends up crashing into the ocean, and we gain nothing from it. Although, I gain like a couple cool like camera shots or something. Anyways, right now we're launching up the second module. This will be a truss section that will sort of hold the lathe space plane in place. Have the center of mass be like nice and centered, all that good stuff. Launch on top of Leviathan. No, this isn't a Leviathan. This is a Colossus. The landing legs are a bit outdated because I loaded up an old craft file instead of a newer one, but that'll be fixed soon. Speaking of craft files, I haven't updated the craft file repository in a while. I should probably do that, although I keep forgetting to do that, and finding like the different craft files and updating them is mildly painful, but I'll do it every once in a while. Don't expect like the latest episode to have the latest craft files and all that. No, I can't be bothered to update it that quickly. But you know, might as well do it every once in a while so you have some like new, cool rockets to play with. Anyways, we have almost gotten into orbit. This rocket is probably a bit much for a payload this mass, but you know, it's always better to be safe than not have enough fuel. And also, you know, like I don't think any other rocket could launch this. Like the Sarnis probably couldn't, and any of our new upcoming SRB rockets probably couldn't either. I think the Sarnis is about to be retired soon because like it's probably too expensive to risk losing the boosters. It's probably more cheaper just to like have a solid rocket booster first stage and then have like a cryogenic upper stage or something. Much more efficient that way, I think, and it's much more it's much better for my sanity. Not saying that I don't enjoy landing these boosters, but it does take up quite a bit of time, and you know, might as well get more video per video, like I've said before. That's always good. You know, like landing the boosters is very fun, but like takes a lot of time, and also it takes a lot of editing time. Like I have to like cut everything up into different strips. I need to find all the quick save reverts from booster missions, and then I need to speed it all up. You know, it's just a lot simpler. But you will see reusable rockets, quite a lot of them. Only the smaller payloads will be launched by the new series of SRB rockets. You might actually see a couple in this episode. And also they're really simple to make. Like you just slap a fuel tank and engine and then SRB on the first stage. If that doesn't work, you slap more SRBs to it. Kerbal engineering at its finest. Anyways, we have arrived at the first module, and we can begin the docking procedure. Now, as you may be able to see shortly, after we get closer in, this actually won't work because at first I thought it was an issue with the RCS ports, but nope, that's not it. Of course that's not. But first I thought it was an issue with RCS, but as you can see right here, very shortly, hopefully very soon. Yeah, like we can't actually dock. The docking ports actually can't connect. At first I thought this was a problem with the RCS ports. However, this is actually a problem with the comm arrays. And since I thought there was an issue with the RCS ports at the time, I thought, well, let's launch another one and ironically, the RCS ports on this one aren't even fixed. I forgot to do that in the midst of adding all the other modifications. So yeah, that's fun. I didn't even fix the problem we were trying to fix. I guess the Kerbal engineers probably like had their checklist upside down or something and just straight up forgot to do that. Since you just saw this launch before, I thought I might as well just show you the highlight reel of it, and instead of speeding it up all the time, I thought I might as well just speed it down to 1x speed and just show you the key events like staging, launch, landings, getting into orbit, all that kind of stuff. I did detach the second stage early, not too much of an issue. This thing has, like I said, loads of extra fuel, but yeah, we can do all the things that this thing needs to do to get into orbit. And the boosters, of course, because I don't know, that's cool. It saves us money because we are almost bankrupt. Yeah, like before when we were shipping up moon rocks, like we had 11 million funds to play around with. Yeah, now we have like 3 million funds, and that number is going down with every launch because I'm not actually doing any contracts. Probably not a good idea to launch these without contracts, but oh well. But I mean, I sort of just like doing my own thing and not having to like put a satellite in this very precise orbit that turns out to be a retrograde orbit that I forgot about. Very painful, but yeah, just sort of like shipping up moon rocks better. I mean, shipping down moon rocks because we're going down to Kerbin. We're not shipping them up because that'd be extraordinarily expensive and would be absolutely useless. Anyways, moon rocks are a very profitable business. We should probably get more of those soon. Probably do something like with the MKS Wolf parts or something. Probably a lot easier that way. I mean, that way I don't have to design a whole new craft to carry down all the new exotic minerals and rare metals. Probably a good idea to do that. Anyways, that won't be for a while because we still need to get all the infrastructure in place. And as you can see here, I was just like, why isn't this working? And I was like, oh, it's the comma rays. And then I was like, how can we fix this? And I thought, well, we might as well send an engineer up there. So Bill Kerman and Valentina Kerman are both on the Endurance today, and they will be heading up there and trying to fix it. And the Endurance, as you can see, is slightly upgraded. It's now using these. I'm not sure if we've used these before, but I don't think we have. These are nuclear jet engines, and you may think, why fly a jet engine that's nuclear powered? Wait, no, why fly a nuclear reactor? That's probably a better way to say this. Why fly a jet engine? Well, because it makes things fly. So you can see on the little fuel bar on the bottom left. The only resource that those things used was intake atmosphere. That means that this thing has infinite fuel in atmosphere, which is very cool because that means we have no, we don't have infinite fuel when we get to orbit. We have lots of fuel when we get to orbit because we use none of it accelerating in the atmosphere. And these jet engines don't have a top speed either. They can reliably like get orbital velocity. I think I could be very wrong about this. They could get like an up to orbital velocity with just the jet engine. So we can go extremely fast in the atmosphere, although heating is a problem. And we have infinite fuel in atmosphere. And not only that, these are multi-mode nuclear engines. So that means that we don't even have to have like separate Nerva engines. Everything we need is just in those engines, which is very cool. They do have a bit lower ISP than the Nervas, like 500 seconds compared to like 800. So we're experiencing a bit of efficiency problems, but I think that makes up for it in like mass and simplicity. Although sooner or later we might have more efficient jet engines, like open cycle. No, those aren't good for atmosphere. Never ignite an open cycle gas core engine near your atmosphere. it doesn't work out well for it. Because like you're spewing hot radioactive products into your atmosphere. It's not a very good thing to do. Because then all your Kerbals will turn green. I mean, not that they aren't already, but like you don't want them like dying of like radiation poisoning and all that stuff. I didn't actually fix it right there because for some reason the antennas wouldn't move with the offset tool. Mildly painful, but oh well. I mean, like, I guess it's fine if we don't. We could move it. It would just summon the Kraken every time we did. So I decided, let's just send the crew back and we can cheat up a new module because we sent an engineer up there. We could have fixed it, but the Kraken just didn't like it. So I consider that legal cheating. Although that sort of like contradicts itself because, I mean, cheating isn't really illegal, but like, sort of just like, you're not supposed to do it. Anyways, you see their nose kind of blew off. Not good. That's like the second time this has happened to the Endurance. We should probably get that fixed soon. Anyways, Valentina will not miss up an opportunity to buzz the tower, as shown right there by Valentina flying past the tower at probably speeds of way too fast. That's a scientific name for the speed that the plane is going at. Anyways, I was having a bit of trouble landing here, but we eventually get it on a nice angle with the runway. Definitely not a nosedive, although nosedive is kind of a weird term when your craft doesn't have a nose, is it? Anyways, we can slow down. I forgot to apply the brakes here, so we go screaming across the runway. Anyways, we're launching a new rocket off of a Colossus. Once again, this is like the third one we've launched in this episode. It's a nice launch vehicle, you know. Has that reusability aspect to it, and although all of our rockets do, almost all of them. And, you know, it can carry a sizable payload into orbit, which is what we need it for. This will be the third module of this spaceship. It contains a gravity ring, life support recyclers, and that's about it. Kind of a boring module, if you don't ignore the fact that it has gravity rings. The biggest one, no, not the biggest ones we've built, but the biggest ones that are going to move, because like all the other ones don't move. And like, yeah, it's 3.75 meters. You can. Oh, it has a greenhouse too. I didn't realize that. I recorded this a long time ago. Tons of backlogged footage because I've been doing nothing but playing Kerbal Space Program for the past couple of days, and I haven't bothered to edit any of it. And I also haven't bothered to make post commentary for any of the footage that I actually have edited. Although I did record the first version of this commentary on Sunday. However, I accidentally deleted the file. Whoops. So yeah, that's why this episode is coming out on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or maybe a Thursday, depending on where you live. You know, time zones and all that. Anyways, we can land the booster once again. Space program, it's doing well on landing the boosters. You know, the guidance system is good and stuff. I'm just using that as an excuse to say that I've improved on the booster landing skills, although that can be quite debated, as isn't the booster failed like a launch ago and 2 launches ago, and will this one fail? I don't know. Does this one fail? Let's see. I'm watching this for the first time too. It should have failed. Once again, the landing legs have been proven to be made of like tungsten, and the craft somehow survived like a 40 meter per second impact. I'm not sure how. I guess the lab boys are like cooking up some like new metamaterials and stuff. Wonderful for landing legs, not so good for realism. Although it's better to land a booster than to have the booster explode. I mean, I'm not really complaining, but like seeing a booster just bounce off off the landing legs is mildly unrealistic and immersion breaking and all that stuff. Anyways, we can once again dock this to the main spacecraft. You can sort of see like where the Lathe spaceplane is going to be. It's sort of going to be slung underneath the truss section there. The truss section is actually more than just a truss. It's actually the science labs and greenhouses and habitation and scanner modules and docking ports and all that stuff. It's more than just a truss. It's habitation. It sounds like a weird like slogan for like a crew compartment company. What company actually makes like the hitchhiker storage module? I don't know. I don't remember the manufacturer's name. I only know like 2 of them that make like the Rockomax fuel tanks because it's in the name kind of. I'm not sure how many I can name off the top of my head. Maybe I should try and do that, although we do have a new launch that is launched on like an abomination of SRBs. Maybe I'll do that in a future episode, reciting all the Kerbal manufacturers from memory, and not just stock, modded too, with all the mods. That would be mildly painful. If I had to do every single mod. Even more painful considering the fact that I don't know any of like the realism overhaul parts, although this might be like the real manufacturer, so that would be kind of easy. Anyways, we just launched a new depot up into low Kerbin orbit, and that will allow us to make shipments from Kerbin to low Kerbin orbit using MKS Wolf, which I'm still trying to make a tutorial on because nobody else has made a video tutorial on it yet, and I figured might as well make a video tutorial on it maybe. Alright, future me with you here. So yeah, I'm doing this in 2 takes, but sort of like not 2 takes, cause sort of like a segmented video, you know? Because the first take of this, well, the first take got deleted, but the second take of this, I ended up saying a really bad space joke, the space-related joke. It was so bad that I decided, let's not publish that. I would rather have my sanity be in check. And instead record this a day later. So this is not coming out on a Tuesday, but it is indeed coming out on maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure if I've already said that before in the video, but I forgot everything that I said in the original video except for the bad joke, which is why I'm recording this separately. Anyways, I should probably talk about the mission at hand here. We're launching up Ranger, and it is going to go deploy a satellite around the Mun. Because I want to start exploiting the resources of the Mun. It has a lot of enriched uranium, probably like some helium-3 or something. We could probably use that for things in places. Also, we're going to have to colonize the Mun eventually. It's just like a resource scanning satellite, nothing too fancy. And it's launched on top of... Well, it's not launched on top of anything. We're launching it on Ranger, and it does look quite a bit different, doesn't it? It has those 2 massive nuclear jet engines, which are very efficient, once again. Then it had all the Rapiers were replaced with the nuclear jet engine. Air tanks on the top and bottom were flipped because I honestly don't realize why they were like that originally. What else do we have? We have, I'm putting this in air quotes here, improved tail fins, which, as you will see sooner or later, the bottom ones kind of break off when you land. Not the biggest of deals, but still. We have the crew cabin compartment thing also changed because I didn't like the old design, and it's just improved version of the Ranger. It can do a lot more things, like deliver heavier payloads into orbit. Not that we use SSTOs for delivering heavy payloads, but still. You know, like, I mean, it looks a lot cooler in my opinion. It has that nice, I mean, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say there, but like all SSTOs have an SSTO aesthetic because, well, they're SSTOs. But, you know, I think this one looks a bit better than the first one. Anyways, we've just deployed a satellite there. You can see it has a couple monopropellant thrusters and all that stuff. Just some orbital maneuvering things, nothing too fancy. It's going to scan for resources. I'm not sure if it has any other scanners on it, but I don't know. We'll find out soon. Anyways, trying to get back from an inclined polar orbit around the moon that has a really high apoapsis and periapsis. It's rather painful. Because like you can't really get it perfectly right. Can't get the ejection angle perfectly right unless you're willing to wait a very long time, and you also can't. What else can't you do? You can't. It's really hard to get into a 0-degree orbit around Kerbin. I actually think it's quite impossible to do that. So yeah, maybe we won't use the SSTO for deploying satellites around the moon anymore. Maybe we'll just use like smaller rockets for that. Anyways, you can see it there, just performing some mid-course corrections to get it on a course to the Kerbal Space Center. I originally thought that we couldn't land at Space Center, and I originally tried to land at the desert airfield. That didn't work. The re-entry procedure was too steep. It either burned up or you know, we undershot it. Although undershooting isn't really a problem with the new jet engines. We have infinite fuel in atmosphere, which is quite handy for when you don't judge your landing site accurately. But you know, it's always nice to have a bit of momentum. You know, you can do some stunts. You can do some stunts through those mountains, a bit westward of the Space Center. That's always cool. We don't do it on this time though. We're coming up way too high in order for us to do any of that. And you know, it just looks cooler. You know, you're like going supersonic speeds right through the Space Center. You know, doing all that cool stuff. Anyways, yeah, like you see, we're traveling at like a kilometer a second at 5 kilometers in altitude. We're going fast. And you know, it always looks cool. Once again, Valentina decides might as well buzz the tower because it looks cool. Once again, going for style points. You know, it might as well become a tradition at this point. You know, you always have to fly past the air traffic control tower on your way back to the Space Center if you're flying a plane. Why? Because as the funny lemon man once said, science isn't about why, it's about why not. Although there are there are quite a few safety concerns as to why not, but let's just ignore those for now. You know, style points over safety. That's always a good motto to have at a space program. Anyways, we are landing the Ranger. We're just landing it right now, and that will actually be the end of this episode. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.